So a villain is going to appear, monologue, fight the player characters, and then they're done. This is kind of like an expansion on one of the videos that we did in the last issue, one of the articles we wrote in the last issue, where if the villain just shows up, gets killed, and moves on, they're not going to remember them. You want the villains to really make an impact by building up that villain, not only by having rumors told about them, but also having that villain make an impact in the world.
Yeah, exactly. The villain has to be built up. They have to mean something also. I mean, so many campaigns that I've played where the villain, in the end, it's just a name throughout the campaign, and it doesn't really matter because there's so much focus on the smaller adventures that don't really tie into the overarching goal of the campaign. And then when you get to the villain, it's like, okay, it's just another villain. And I think of the DC movies, they did this, the DCEU, you know, they had characters like Steppenwolf. Like,
Jesus.
They
no
tried
one
to make
Steppenwolf.
Nobody even remember. People are probably watching this, they're like, who? Steppenwolf.
Darkseid, even worse.
Yeah, like they're trying to make Thanos, but Thanos was built up well because he meant something and he built up throughout a series of movies leading up to the Avengers.
And then he delivered on what he said he was going to do.
Exactly.
Whereas Darkseid and Steppenwolf did none of that.
None of that.
Like, they were defeated from the very beginning.
Yeah, they were just there to be the villain, to fill a slot, and it was terrible.
Get beat up by Superman because they couldn't even stand up against him.
Which brings us to overpowered and underpowered villains, right? So, again, if you have a villain who can just destroy the... Now, with cosmic horror, there's a little bit different because the villain, if it's a cosmic entity, they should be overpowered so you can defeat them in different ways. But if you have a villain who is super weak and is killed in one shot, man, the players think they want this. Because I've said this in a prior video, they're playing a game, they want to win. The goal is to win, right? But for you as the game master, your goal is to tell the story and for it to mean something so that 10 years later you can sit back and say, man, you know.
Remember, we were all going to die, and then this one spell I cast completely turned everything around. Like, that is far more memorable than we stomped them in one round. Like, in a month, you're going to forget about that.
I have a video where we ran our test for the Marvel Multiverse role-playing game. When it had just come out, we played that, I think it was that very day or that week, because I had an advanced copy of the game. And so I wrote this adventure at the airport, and the players were breaking into the airport that had been overtaken by some thugs. And it turns out, they find out the main bad guy is the Mandarin. And they fight through, they do all these cool things. You know, Blade is cracking jokes, one-liners like he did in the movies. And then they go through all this, and then boom, they get to the conveyor belts where the luggage comes out, and there's the Mandarin. He's standing there. He was ticked off that his luggage was delayed. And Wolverine runs in with one hit with his claws, kills the Mandarin. And it was like so anticlimactic. And we remember that because it was so over the top terrible.
In the moment, everyone's cheering, yay! But then, like, as we look back, it's like, as I was playing Blade, I'm like, man, I didn't even get to use my abilities. And then no one else got to really do anything because that villain got one shot. So, like, even though players think they want that power to be able to kill that major villain in one hit, no one else gets to enjoy it because they didn't get to do their cool thing. And in order to do your cool thing, the villain has to be able to survive long enough to do that. Now, it's not always a good thing. You don't always want to do that either. And when you mention cosmic horror and overpowered, let's be clear here. A lot of people who are watching this are familiar with cosmic horror, but there are some of you that are not, right? So cosmic horror is a different thing. When we say cosmic horror beings need to be overpowered, we are not saying make Cthulhu come out of the water and swing at the player characters, dealing 300 damage in one hit.
Yeah.
That is not what we mean by overpowered. What we mean is this being is so powerful the players can't even impact them, and they're so insignificant to these beings that the beings don't even bother attacking the player characters. That's what we mean by overpowered. Don't frustrate your players by killing them in one shot like that. That is beyond frustrating. Players will hate that. You think it's a cool story. Yeah, this thing killed you in one hit. No, it's not fun for the players. Getting killed in one hit and they can't do anything about it is never fun because you're taking away their agency. So I just wanted to rant about that for a moment because I don't want there to be any misunderstandings in terms of overpowered and underpowered foes. Continue, please.